the lesson I got, not just from Fiona and Finnegan, but from other animals too, is that they're superior to us. We think like we take care of them. They are a mirror to us of what unconditional love is. They love us no matter what. Dogs can get hurt and beaten and they still come back. Even the most scared animal seeks affection and love, at least in my experience. They are the example of how we need to demonstrate love unconditionally.
This is Flavors of Emotions, expanding your emotional palette for a tastier life. My name is Kim Cordy. Together, we explore how to make sense of our feelings through the lens of a chef, understanding flavors and a recipe. I am here to help you refine your emotional palette to differentiate the emotions that shape your world.
Hi, this is Kim Cordy, and welcome back to Flavors of Emotions. When we connect to the feelings that are produced by them, it's called interoception. It's a sensory system, and the whole idea is getting connected to ourselves and then learning more about ourselves by understanding the recipes that we're using every day to create the emotional responses that also are a part of how we think and how we behave. The topic today is a very personal one, and I'm going to be getting into my own emotion recipes because I just recently lost my dog. And if you are not someone who really loves their pets, you might say, oh, it's just a dog. But she was like my daughter. I loved her like a kid. And she was the biggest sweetheart. Her name was Fiona. We got her through an extreme rescue organization out of San Francisco. She was rescued off the streets of Tijuana. And when we got her, she was considered an extreme rescue, meaning her chances of living were about 50-50. She had tick-borne disease, mange. She looked like a rat. She had no hair on her tail. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you will see pictures of her. But she was a true mess. And yet, when we saw her on the adoption website, we knew we had to have that dog. Like, there was just no doubt that was our dog. And in fact, I was on a business trip to Toronto, or at least on my way to one, trying to email with the rescue. And they said, oh, we're sorry, someone's coming to look at her tomorrow. If something falls through, your husband can come down when you and your husband and dog can come down when you return from your trip. And I started crying on the transportation to the airport because it was like, no, this is my dog. So I was in love with her before I even got her. Then I got another email saying the family didn't want her because truly, guys, she was a mess. She was a skinny, scrawny, unhealthy mess. So they said, if your husband wants to come down with the dog and adopt her without you, that's fine. So he did, and we did. And he was supposed to come and meet me in Toronto for a weekend at the end of my business. And so my sister came and stayed and took care of her and fell madly in love. It was hard not to love that little girl. Everybody did. She was infectious, and you couldn't help but fall in love with her, just her whole disposition. And she was my constant companion. Now, my other dog, Finnegan, we call him, we say he's a bit of a jackass. Not that we don't love him to death, but he is. And he's laying right here in the office where Fiona used to lay down. So that's nice that he's here with me. But normally he's in the bedroom hanging out, and it would just be me and Fiona in my office, or me and Fiona on the sofa, or me and Fiona She would even come in when I'm taking a bath because she just wanted to lay near me, to be near me. And even when she was sick, she came up and slept with me, except for the last night. She couldn't get up to even go to the bed, so I laid on the floor and slept with her. She had a rough beginning. She was on the streets of Tijuana. She came missing a tooth or two. Like I said, she was malnourished, tick-borne disease, and mange. And I think the tick-borne disease was ultimately what was the undoing of her health for the majority of her life. She's had kidney issues and skin issues, and probably it was related to that. In the end, she had pancreatic infection that was quite bad. Her liver was just, I think, more than twice the size of what it should be. So it was the kind thing to do to let her go and not try and make her survive something that was probably insurvivable in the long run, even if we had spent thousands and thousands. And trust me, I'd already spent thousands, but it would have been another 20 to try and keep her alive, at least, at a minimum, at least 20. It's crazy how expensive it is to try and take care of your pets. I miss her. It's crazy. The lesson I got, not just from Fiona and Finnegan, but from other animals too, is that they're superior to us. We think like we take care of them. They are a mirror to us of what unconditional love is. They love us no matter what. Dogs can get hurt and beaten and they still come back. Even the most scared animal seeks affection and love, at least in my experience. They are the example of how we need to demonstrate love unconditionally. My dog, Finnegan, can be a bit of a jerk, but he loves me unconditionally and I love him unconditionally. But how hard is that to do with other humans? It can be pretty challenging, right? Very challenging. And yet I'm going to try and show what I call Fiona Love. To love everyone who comes near me, to show them some sort of goodness and affection and kindness. I think I do, but then I realize, like, looking at how Fiona was with people and how they responded to her, I can amp it up. I can amp it up. Bringing Fiona into my life, I learned that you really do have all kinds of capacity for love. When we went down this road of getting another dog, which is a whole nother story, is the reason why we did, but Finnegan was lonely and we said he needs a companion. And he was about 3 at the time. He's now 13. And so we went on this journey of finding one, and I told my girlfriend, I said, I just don't know. I love Finnegan so much. How can I love another dog as much as I love Finnegan? And yet I did. And for those of you who are parents, you know what I learned. Like, your heart just can expand and expand and expand with that real intimate, deep kind of love. So she taught me the expansion of my heart. And well, my husband doesn't want another dog. And right now, I can't imagine bringing another dog into my life because I'm so sad over her. In time, maybe I will. And I know that all of Fiona's love still lives there, whether she's in this presence or not. Like, she's not here, but I can still love her that much. And the same for Finnegan. His space in my heart will always be there. Even as she left, she stared at me and I stared at her, and I knew that she was at a point of not recognizing me, the vet told me, because we did this at home. But I laid there looking in her eyes because we did that a lot. She would just come up and look at me. You know, dogs do that, right? They just stare at you and they just have this knowing. Anyway, I stared at Fiona and I saw life leave her face. And it was as if she went like right through me. Kind of as a last time, I always want to be with you, Mom. I don't know if this is the first crying podcast, and I don't care if it is or if it's something that you shouldn't do. I don't care. We need to be loving like a dog. We need to show Fiona love. We need to accept Fiona love. And maybe there's a lesson in having a pet and being able to accept that kind of love and then transfer it to a human and learn how to love other people and to let love in. And part of that is learning to love yourself. It's one of the most important aspects of love is learning to love yourself, to love others, to show kindness, and to accept kindness. Giving and taking are part of the balance. When we give, and we don't take, that's not healthy. And when we take, and don't give, that's not healthy either. Animals give us a chance to balance that out because, you know what, they take care of themselves. You see them all the time. Like, they let you know when they need something and you give it to them and then they show thanks. Fiona would always, we called them Fifi hugs because that was her nickname. My sister nicknamed her Fifi, and she would call them Fifi hugs. And it truly was, because when you came over and you sat next to her, she would dig in right next to you and show you how much she cared and appreciated your presence by giving her a little version of a hug. I don't know if this podcast is for me or for someone listening. So if it is striking someone who's listening, maybe you don't treat your animal as well as you should. And I'm going to say it's because you maybe don't recognize the love that you should see in that dog, what you get from them. Or maybe you don't love yourself enough, so it's hard for you to treat someone else kindly. That's why I'm here, is to help people to connect to emotions and to define them. And that Fifi love that I have, I can't transfer it to you. I can't explain it even truly in words. It resides inside of me. This is my own internal recipe for the kind of love that I felt with her. And if you can learn to separate the kind of love that you feel or relabel or redefine the different aspects of love or the kinds of love that you have, it helps you to have more definition of your emotion. But if you can't connect to it, if you can't feel those feelings, it's hard to grow. We are primarily feeling beings. And unless we feel, we don't get the joy and the pain that comes with love. But you know what? I offset that pain with doing fun things for myself. Like, for instance, you can't see if you're not watching this on YouTube, but I did my nails with these cute, I don't know if you can even see them, with little flowery things, because it made me feel good. I will do other things to make myself feel good. I'll go get Finnegan when he wants to lay on the bed and make him lay next to me on the sofa, rubbing his tummy like I used to do with Fiona. Look, he doesn't care. He's getting his tummy rubbed. But it made me feel good to do that because I missed her not being there. So he had to fill the spot, at least for now. You can feel pain, and it's still okay to find things to feel good about. Not getting consumed and swallowed up by the pain is where we run into trouble. It's a balancing act, feeling the pain and then finding joy to offset it. It's okay to do that. And that's what I'm doing. That is how I am managing my pain. And we all have to find what works for us. It's an individual road we all take in life. We're a part of a huge connection of life, but at the same time, we are on our own individual path, and we learn how to manage and accept our feelings for us. And I'm going to talk about that more in another podcast, but learning our individuality is so, so important. So if someone out there thinks I'm not handling my grief correctly, right now I'm handling it correctly for me. And it's working because I can have my sad moments and I can have my joyful moments, and my sad moments are happening less often. And I am learning to work through it and have my tears and then stop. That's the whole thing. You work through your feelings. You don't push them down. And the more you work through them, the easier they become. That was my, probably, except for my second podcast. I'm trying to think of which podcast. I had one other one that was very, very personal. And I think I need to do more of that. I have found that my podcasts have been a little clinical, and I want to be more personal because emotions are human. We are first and foremost feeling beings, and sharing my feelings can help you with your feelings and talk about these recipes and perceptions as ingredients and how to manage those ingredients. All of those things as what has helped me. And hopefully it's going to help you as you listen to me, or potentially join me in some of my classes, or in other videos, or anything else that I do that can help you, because that's why I'm doing this. So thank you for listening. I have to say, if you enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. And thank you for listening. Because believe it or not, like this podcast was so therapeutic for me, and your listening kind of is my, well, no, it isn't kind of, it is my support. So thank you. Thank you for your support and listening to my words. And if I helped you in any way, shape, or form, I am very grateful. This is Kim Cordy, and I will see you next time on Flavors of Emotions.